What is up, everybody? This is ThiccTeddy coming at you with my first YouTube TED Talk or DD, and it is on AMTX. Just for some intro, if you hear a meow, it is my cat. He's hanging out with me while I'm recording this, and I just made a first draft, or I recorded it for the first time, and I thought it was right around 10 or 15 minutes. And I just looked at it, and it turned out it was 34 minutes. So I have a little timer next to me to make sure I keep within 10 to 15 minutes. For you guys can have some time to do other things with your day other than listen to me talk about stocks. All right, so starting off, we are going to go straight into the highlights. Number one, they have a 20% stake in GEVO Motors, which will be unveiling a long-haul trucking product line in Q1 21. So they make electric vehicle motors, put them into long-haul trucking, and it makes it zero carbon emission. Big, huge, nice catalyst in Q1. Number two, Carbon Zero One will produce 23 million gallons of renewable jet fuel and diesel per year, and which can be dropped into airplanes, ships, and trucks without engine modification. That's also massive. Being dropped into airplanes, ships, and trucks without engine modification, I'm going to repeat that, that is massive. Number three, February 1 open bid proposal process for $2 billion offtake agreement for their fuels. So $2 billion being put into their revenue pipeline for the next few years is massive. Number four, January 22nd received $16.8 million in grants for Carbon Zero One from California. That's also nice cash flow for them. Number five, hand sanitizer product launch on Amazon begins February of 2021. That's another revenue pipeline. I'm not too worried about the hand sanitizer. It's okay, but that's not what I'm investing in this company for. Number six, CEO to present an investor conference March 1st through 3rd. That's massive. They could get some big firms, big investors, big institutions that want to buy into their company, want to buy a hefty percentage of their company, which that can help send the price for us short-term investors. So now we will dig a little deeper. We'll go into management. CEO Eric McAfee founded 7 public companies, which topped out at $4 million market value combined. He sold one for $1 billion. Oh, this is supposed to be $1 billion. $4 billion market value combined. He sold one for $1 billion. Pretty nice. CFO Todd Waltz held senior financial management roles with Apple for 12 years. We like Apple. Great company. So if he was there for 12 years, kudos to Todd Waltz. Let's zoom in and take a quick look at this chart real quick. So as you guys can see, we're forming a bullish flag, bullish pennant, whatever you want to call it. And we just broke out of this when I was making the DD because we were kind of stuck below 8. So now we're above 8, and we're looking to make a move up to 11 soon, and even further if we get some catalyst with the GEVO, with the offtake agreements. So could make a nice move soon. All right, moving on to page number 2. Starting off, I'm going to skip the company overview because you guys kind of know they make renewable chemicals, renewable fuels. They have a plant in India. You guys kind of know that. These fundamentals, I'll go through quick. Market cap, 180 million. Float, 20 million, so it moves pretty quick. Average volume of 3.63 million over the past 3 months. That's pretty nice, pretty average. Positives. Recently only had $79,000 cash, but then received that grant that we talked about a little earlier, which is great. 140 million yearly revenue before alternative fuel sales began. I'll talk about that later. It's great. Number 3, institutions hold 11.7%, hedge funds 14.6%, and insiders 23%. Love it. Great. Good selling point for me. All right. Number 4, recent analyst price target of $15. I like it. All right. The first nitty-gritty, we have GEVO Motors. On December 22nd, 2020, AMTX stated via press release that they've acquired a 20% ownership in GEVO Motors. They're currently in stealth mode, but they plan to launch their product in Q1 of 21. So it will be a patented range extender engine designed to meet low and zero emission vehicle standards. And it says that they will, in the press release here, I've highlighted, it says that they will utilize current and future AMTX manufacturing facilities and fueling stations, as well as renewable natural gas and renewable electricity produced by AMTX. So it's a $90 billion industry, the trucking industry, and they're looking to take advantage of a small portion of that who is looking to go to low or zero emission vehicle standards. So GEVO, it's really nice that they're getting into the electric vehicle sector, which it's a booming sector, so that pushes AMTX a little bit higher. Carbon Zero One, so on January 15th, they were awarded a patent to produce below zero carbon renewable fuels. And down here, I kind of highlighted a part that explains the below zero. We will have a below zero carbon greenhouse gas footprint across the entire life cycle of the fuel based on this GREET model. So essentially, they're putting good, I don't know how to say it, but they're basically have zero carbon and even more. They're putting something good back into the environment. I need to do a little more research on it, but it's good, so we like it. On February 4th, 2021, AMTX stated that Coke will help execute carbon zero jet fuel projects. This was the first that they kind of talked about their jet fuel projects. Basically, I'm just going to skip down here. It is huge and massive for their company. So they already have a built production plant. They do not have to wait for construction, and they're drop-in fuels. So they could be used today on any airplane, ship, or truck engines. So basically, they could just make their fuel today, and it could be, boom, airplane. I'm riding on this airplane, and it's using this renewable fuel created by AMTX. That is huge. I mean, truck and ship fleets too. Those are massive. We have millions of those in the United States. So they're gonna have some people who want to buy their fuel. Moving on, we have here's the press release for that. Nothing real special about it. Just basically what I already went over. All right, so I'm gonna skip over this 16 million grant they got. It's nice cash flow, but nothing too special. A $2 billion bid. This is the biggest thing for me about this company. On February 1st, 2021, AMTX opened a bid proposal for a $2 billion offtake agreement for their renewable jet fuel and diesel projects. Essentially, this means that companies want to buy AMTX fuel products in the future have sent bids that will provide AMTX with cash flow in the way of them being able to get loans due to these offtake agreements. So essentially, these offtake agreements show that Carbon Zero One is a legitimate they're a great project. They have desirable technology, and other companies are betting on them becoming a large player in the renewable fuel industry. These offtake agreements will allow them to get loans. Essentially, they're saying, we're going to buy your products for these $2 billion down the line. We just need you to get working on it now. So that is massive for their company. That's my biggest selling point of this. I'm going to skip over hand sanitizer. Essentially, they're launching on Amazon Q1. It's not that big of a deal to me. It's going to be nice revenue. It's nice that Amazon's recognizing it, but it's just that. Nice revenue. All right, India. So in 2019, AMTX was awarded a contract from 3 India government oil companies in order to create biodiesel. India has a 25 billion gallon diesel market. And essentially, they want 1.2 billion gallons of that to be biodiesel. AMTX is producing, I think it's somewhere around 25 million or 20 million for them. And GEVO wants to get over there, which we'll get more into GEVO versus AMTX here soon. But GEVO wants to get over to India, and AMTX is already there. Even if they're both there, it's okay. They can split that 1.2 billion gallons, and they can have 3 other big competitors in there. That's 5. That's quite a bit per company. But regardless, AMTX has been there for 2 years. They're ahead of GEVO in that situation. Next page. So now we have GEVO versus AMTX. So let me get it up here real quick so we can. All right. GEVO versus AMTX. Number one, there are different companies with different products, so keep that in mind. They can be compared on the level of being in the same sector with generally similar products. They're creating jet fuels, they're creating ship fuels, they're creating truck fuels that can be dropped into engines, but their products are biologically different. They're using different processes, using different biological elements to make them, so there's going to be a variability in price, effectiveness, and preferred usage. Some companies are going to choose GEVO, some companies AMTX, some companies a different competitor. That's fine. Regardless, they're both making great fuels. Number 2, AMTX is in India already. GEVO wants to get there. We already talked about that. Good for AMTX. Number 3, GEVO had 1.5 in offtake agreements. AMTX has 2 billion. Fairly close. Essentially, it's other companies showing their valuation of the pipeline, saying we want to come in and buy it. Big thing, GEVO has inked these 1.5 billion in revenue streams for the coming years. AMTX has not finalized them yet. That's great for GEVO, not so great for AMTX. So number 5, GEVO has 530 million in cash. AMTX has somewhere between 25 and 75 million in cash. My calculations are correct. I went kind of back on the paper trail, tried to find some things so I could calculate it. So GEVO has quite a bit more cash. So GEVO is in the process of building a production plant. Won't be in full-scale production until 2023. AMTX already has a facility in California. Just needs to begin production. Not to mention they've been in production in India for 2 years now. In my opinion, this is a big plus for AMTX. They're going to know how to do it. They already did it in India, so I think it'll get up and running a little bit faster than GEVO, who's kind of in their first process of creating a full-scale production plant. Number 7, prior to offtake agreements, GEVO had a revenue of $12 million per year. AMTX had a revenue of around $140 million. You can look at this two ways. Either you can look at it as a plus for GEVO that they focused on these biofuels, or a plus for AMTX. Oh wow, they're actually looking to make revenue any way they can. They're kind of a scrappy company. I look at it as a plus for both. GEVO's really focused. AMTX has some fallback that they can take. Number 8, post offtake agreements, GEVO has an expected revenue pipeline for multiple years, so not yearly, of around $1.6 billion. AMTX has an expected revenue pipeline for multiple years, not yearly again, of around $2.3 billion if their offtake agreements are finalized. And number 9, AMTX market cap is $180 million, while GEVO's is $2.72 billion. I just can't fathom why GEVO's would be so much more when AMTX has a $2.3 billion in offtake agreements and expected revenue pipeline for the same time frame as GEVO. I just can't understand that. All right, we're moving on to my Teddy's 2 cents. All right, so number 1, they've already have a biodiesel plant in India, and they plan on beginning production in America. I assume it'll be up and running soon and producing revenue soon. Number 2, jet fuel is massive. I think that they will get their offtake agreements finalized because of this jet fuel and because airplane companies, jet companies want renewable fuels for their jets. Number 3, the GEVO Motors catalyst in Q1 could be massive if GEVO unveils a great product, if they unveil any partnerships with big companies, big truck fleet companies. It could send AMTX considering they have that 20% ownership. Number 4, as I'm writing this, it was up to 9.15. It's not up there anymore, so buy these dips near 8. Buy these dips if they dip down into 7s. Number 5, I see this as a short-term gainer as well as long-term. The GEVO catalyst, closing of offtake agreements, more grants coming in, production plant beginning production in the near future are all short-term catalysts, which could send the company. Long-term, I see revenue from contracts and future plants. Those are long-term catalysts. I like them. Number 6, the fact that their fuel can be dropped into aircraft, ships, and truck fleets is massive. I repeat it again, it is huge. So essentially, I love this company. I don't know if I can say this on YouTube, but in conclusion, my D is hard for AMTX. I love this company. I kind of see it as having an upper hand on GEVO. I'm not going to give you a definite statement on that, but right now, valuations, I think it kind of has an upper hand. GEVO might have a superior product, we don't know, but valuation-wise, I think AMTX is a little bit more upside. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Remember, manage your own risks. Buy on the dip. Don't panic sell and be a you-know-what. And trust the DD.